What is up, guys? My name is Christian with GameMate, and today we're at the Tokyo Game Show here in Tokyo, full of all the gaming technology you need, including the latest demos for upcoming games and all the technology for your gaming setups. There's tons of things to see in there, so without further ado, let's get inside and check it out. Let's go.
So first things first, we actually had to get into the Tokyo Game Show, and that was a lot easier said than done. There was a massive line of people, and we ended up staying in line for almost 2 hours as we slowly but surely made our way closer to the entrance of Tokyo Game Show. So first up on our list was Bandai Namco. This is a pretty cool stage that had a giant Tekken 8 section featuring a panda statue as well as some live cosplayers of different characters from Tekken 8. There's also a Tekken 8 tournament going on where you can actually put your skills to the test if you wish to kind of, see how good you are in the game. Right next to that was a Sandland section featuring a giant tank from the game. The art style is made by Akira Toriyama, creator of Dragon Ball Z. And then finally there was a giant robot because, of course, why not have a giant robot at the Tokyo Game Show? There's also a giant robot from the game Singularity because of course there is. It's Tokyo Game Show, there has to be a giant robot somewhere. Next up on the list is Square Enix, and as you'd expect there was a ton of Final Fantasy stuff there. First off being this badass bike straight from the game, looked very cool. Unfortunately I could not ride the bike. I did try, but they said to get off or I would be killed by Sephiroth, so I got off very quickly. And then followed by a Final Fantasy VII Rebirth trailer that we're playing now, which looked absolutely phenomenal. Can't wait for the game to come out. Next up we have Capcom. At the Capcom stage there was a lot of things for Street Fighter 6 as well as Dragon's Dogma 2. There was a live stage event where they discussed kind of upcoming news and events for Street Fighter 6 as well as a huge Dragon's Dogma 2 dragon statue that you could actually pose with if you waited in line. This is a very detailed, very intimidating statue. Behind the main stage there was tons of small booths. You can actually test out their latest upcoming games. Let's check out a list of all the upcoming games right now. Next up was Konami, and they had a very cool kind of Metal Gear themed stage with a ton of different screens as well as a photo spot area we could take a picture with the cardboard box from Metal Gear Solid to celebrate the upcoming Metal Gear remakes. There's also a pretty large section on their upcoming Fate series game which featured a statue of one of the characters as well as a huge moon and a trailer for the game, as well as a trailer for their latest title in the Momotetsu series, Momotaro Dentetsu World. Next up was Sega with Sonic and the gang in a booth on Sonic Superstars, as well as a photo spot area and a huge balloon with Sonic, Knuckles, Tails, and Amy. This is followed by a huge stage for their new Yakuza game, Yakuza 8, or Like a Dragon, Infinite Wealth, which featured a trailer for the game, some voice actors from the game, as well as a photo spot booth. Next up on the list was the Atlas, which had mainly two sections, one for Persona 5 Tactica PST, with a trailer and a statue, as well as a reverse side that had a statue and trailer for the upcoming Persona 3 remake. So that was very cool and packed with tons of people trying to get a photo of their favorite little cat from Persona and their waifu from Persona 3. Next up was the Tase booth, which had this really cool little area we can test out old retro games, and I decided to play this really cute kind of lunchbox mobile version of a console which had old school Mega Man on it, and I played and proceeded to die immediately, but it was very fun and very cute. One of the more popular booths was MiHoYo. They had several photo spots where you could take pictures with a giant train from Honkai Star Rail or a ship from Honkai. And on the reverse side they had a live gameplay stream of Genshin going on and kind of breaking down different aspects of the game. as well as a ZZZ, a Zenless Zone Zero section, which featured a ton of kind of mysterious staticky TV screens, as well as some goods you can buy for their highly anticipated upcoming game. One standout was Gem My Games, which was showing off a booth for Inotria, The Last Song, an upcoming Souls-like game which features a unique ability to swap different masks that change your character's abilities. I managed to get my hands on a quick demo of the game, but I was unfortunately cut down pretty quickly by the difficult AI. That being said, the ideas presented in this game are quite interesting, and I'm looking forward to seeing the finished product. After the main booths, I continued to wander around to see what I could find. I did come across a monster booth that was giving out free monster to anybody who was willing to wait in line for at least, I think, 30 minutes to an hour, so I decided against that. I continued on and found several booths, including a booth on Snowbreak and various game cosplay girls and various game booths, as well as game statues. Just a ton of things to look at. There were so many people, so many game booths. It was a ton of information to take in all at once. At one point I did feel like I was in the middle of the ocean, but instead of water, it was just video games, which could be a good or bad thing depending on how you look at it, but I thought it was a pretty cool, I guess, feeling to experience at least once in my life. I did come across this very cool Samsung wall that featured various casts of different games, and I believe this included the real life height, so you could kind of stand next to the character and see how tall you are next to one of your favorite characters. This included the cast from Street Fighter, Final Fantasy VII, and Sonic, as well as a few others. I do believe also some of the voice actors that actually play the characters signed the wall as well, so you can kind of see their signature, and it was a pretty cool feature. Of course, no trip to Tokyo Game Show would be complete without rocking some merch, so I did line up and get me a Tokyo Game Show official shirt. It featured actually several pretty cool game designs. I think some were actually sent in by designers that won a contest, and then the main design was designed by the venue itself. I just went with the main design. As you see, I'm wearing it in the video, and it felt great. Very cool shirt. As the day began to wind down, we managed to speak to a few visitors to the Tokyo Game Show that were just passing by. We asked them about what they were coming to see and what they were enjoying from Tokyo Game Show this year.
Okay, great. How about we first off with your name and where you're from?
I'm Dane. I'm from America.
Okay, great. And what brings you to Tokyo Game Show today?
Well, I just really love games, so this kind of place is just really fun and interesting to me. So.
Okay, great. Is your first time here?
No, I went for the first time last year.
How does it compare this year to last year?
It's definitely way more crowded, I think. And I think there was just, I feel like there was a really big like family area. I feel like it was a really big thing this year was like kids. I've seen a lot more kids than I saw last year too, I think. But besides that, yeah, a lot of the same big companies, Bandai Namco, Square Enix, all those people were still here, so.
Is there anything in particular you came to see today?
No, not really. I do like to come here. I like seeing a lot of the indie games too, honestly. They're really interesting because, you know, it's like you already kind of see all the trailers for the big stuff. And I also see like some of the live stuff, like at the Yakuza panel, there was like, well, I think the game director was singing some like 24-Hour Cinderella. It was really cool. Yeah.
Okay, great. And today's highlight, anything that was like the best thing you did today?
I think it was what I just mentioned, watching him sing. It was so cool. Yeah. It's fun. And yeah, just trying some indie games around here and there. Really fun, yeah.
All right, great. Thanks so much. That's it, dude. That's it. Please put your name and where you're from.
My name is Mitchell, and I'm from Seattle, Washington, but now I live in Japan.
Great. What part of Japan, by the way?
Around Mitaka.
Okay. Is it your first time at Tokyo Game Show?
First time it hasn't had COVID restrictions. I went last year and it had very strict restrictions then. So I'd say first kind of real experience.
And how was your first real experience today?
It's been good so far. So, you know, lots of lines, of course, very busy and stuff like that. But yeah, I'd say overall it was fun.
Is there anything in particular you came to see today? Like one particular booth or game you wanted to kind of see details on?
Yeah, I specifically wanted to see the Final Fantasy VII Rebirth stuff. So I went and played the demo, as well as there was a talk with several of the directors that went into more in-depth stuff about the game.
And what did you think of the game?
I think it's fun. I think it's a good continuation of the remake. So a lot of the mechanics, the fighting mechanics feel the same, but they also introduced several mechanics that just kind of refresh everything, or at least in the demo it felt refreshed. And then the information they went over in the overworld was also interesting, where you've got the kind of overworld maps as well as the, I guess, collectathon for the most part, with lots of little icons and stuff like that to kind of go and investigate. So.
And finally, what was the highlight of today? Anything that kind of just stood out?
Trying to think.
It could be negative or positive, by the way.
Well, so I got in line for the Rebirth, got the time ticket, and I walked by a guy and I was like, oh, I like his shirt. You know, it's a very cool Final Fantasy VII shirt. And then later during the 1 o'clock talk, it was the director, Kitase. And I was like, wait, no, I actually wanted to meet him. I just did not recognize him when I was getting the ticket, making sure I got all the time written down and stuff like that. Liked his shirt and then just kept walking. Never.
He was right by you, didn't know it was him.
Didn't recognize him. So it's like hindsight, but.
Next year, right?
Next year for sure. So.
Okay. So first, it's your name and where you're from.
Yeah, I'm Florent. I'm from France.
Your name?
Florent. Sorry. It's difficult to say in English.
Florent. Florent.
Yeah.
Okay, great. And is this your first time at Tokyo Game Show?
Actually, it's my second time. I came here last year when, of course, Japan was closed because I'm here for working visa. Okay. So, yeah. Actually, today a lot people here coming than compared to last year. It was, but yeah, it was fun anyway to see people coming in again, and yeah, a lot of stuff to see.
Did you come here today for anything in particular, like any one game you wanted to see, or any one booth?
Actually, no. I just came here to take a look at everything and get surprised by all the companies.
And what was the highlight of the day? What was the best part you saw today?
The best part, actually, I would say it's kind of, I don't know, maybe a little bit weird, but Gyakuten Saiban, I saw 4, 5, 6. So I love this series. So I was actually hyped by this. Then after, of course, Square Enix, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, a lot of stuff. Konami didn't have any kind of big game to present, but actually they put on series show and with concert and everything, so it was kind of fun.
Okay, awesome. And yeah, that should be it. Okay, great. All good? All right, guys. Well, that's Tokyo Game Show 2023. We saw a lot of cosplay, a lot of games, and it was a lot of fun. I'm Christian. I'm with GameMate. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace out.